嗨，大家好，我是戴淑轩，我来自英国，欢迎回到我的频道。也许你不知道我来自英国的哪里，其实我来自英国南部一个小城市，叫做 Brighton 布莱顿。那你可能不知道 Brighton 有哪些值得去的地方，那今天让我来带你去逛逛这个地方。I'm going to take you around Brighton as if you're my guest, and you're here for one day only, which is enough to see Brighton, I would say. I'm going to take you to my favourite places and exactly how I would do it. So let's go. Okay, so you've just arrived at Brighton Station and you've walked straight out of the exit in front of you. Now, what I recommend not doing is going straight down the road in front of you, which is what every single tourist does. They're like, I'm in Brighton, I need to go to the beach. Boom, I'm just going to go down there. Don't do that. That's a horrible road. It's just not very nice. There's a much better way to go. Let me show you. Basically, what you want to do is go down that road, which is to your right. So here we go, we're doing a little shortcut and you might be like, oh no, I'm missing out on the heart of Brighton, the centre. No, you don't want to see that road, I'm telling you. So originally in the 1800s when Brighton was developed as like a place for royalty to come and chill and go in the sea for like their health and stuff, that would have been obviously the main road, straight direct down to the sea. Now it's just become a bit overdeveloped. So where we're going now is what's called the Laines, and it's spelt L-A-I-N-E-S. And there's two things that you can see on the way to the Lanes. First of all, there's this toy museum. It's actually closed on Mondays, but it's tiny. You can just go in, have a look. It's really cute, very British. And then over the road here, we've got an original Banksy. That is the original Banksy. Have you seen that? It's quite a famous painting, right? So if you walk down that main road, you would have not even seen this. And obviously they've covered it with glass to try and protect it. So yeah, this is one of the most famous pubs in Brighton. You can see all the music legends of the past. I saw something in the news recently that maybe Banksy is not as popular with the younger generations anymore. But anyway, that's one of the OG, that means original Banksy art. Now, if you just keep walking straight down this road, to your right, you're going to see some streets which are pretty typical of Brighton. We've got those terraced townhouses, and usually they're of different colours. Now, if you want to see really beautiful multicoloured houses, go over to Hanover, which is a little bit of a walk from here. But just so you get an idea, it kind of looks like that. We're just going to keep walking down until you see a right-hand turn, which is full of shops and it's very colourful. This is just literally the next street down. And again, we've got those coloured houses. Just want to say, by the way, why is the Lanes spelled L-A-I-N-E-S and not the regular spelling? It's just an Anglo-Saxon word that used to mean agricultural land near the fishing town of Brighton. They've just maintained the spelling until today. But the locals spell it wrong as well, so it's fine. So yeah, clothes like this, these sort of clothes rails with vintage, second-hand type stuff, is very, very Brighton. Like if you're into interesting fashion, this is the perfect place for you. Ooh, I like that. That's very nice. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting totally distracted. Let's continue. So this is the road that we're going to be looking for. As you can see, it's the busiest one. It's the most colourful one. It's got all the shops. And so it has that quirky feel because these might be people that are not spending fortunes on like the latest high-tech gear. They're the sorts of people that want to have fun. They want to express themselves, like a huge focus on individuality and freedom of expression. And that is the heart of the essence of Brighton. Now, I will say that Brighton is changing quite quickly and it's becoming more and more like London in feel. Honestly, I have not been to every shop here and I come down this street quite a lot. There's just so much to see and do. And if you've got time and you want to just wander through the streets, you could probably take a few hours just going into every single shop. This is another famous vintage shop, Beyond Retro. Got some interesting clothing there. Again, I would say a little bit overpriced because it's basically just secondhand clothes. You can go to charity shops and get similar kind of things for much less. But yeah, secondhand shopping is a massive deal in Brighton. So when you've walked down that street, you want to then go down this one. This is very narrow and we're going to get kind of cramped in here. And actually it is lunchtime and I'm going to have lunch in here. This is idea. I quite like this. This is all vegetarian food. As I said, Brighton is quite a hippie place, so you're going to find more veggie, vegan type food. This is all vegan and it's actually really, really good. I would highly recommend. So my belly is full. Let's continue. So yeah, there really is something for everyone here. But I'm just going to show you some of the places that I like. So this is Lucy and Yak. They are across the whole country, but kind of more of a recent brand that people like. They do these kind of cool, multicolored dungarees. The place that's really cool is Bert's, and it's only in Brighton. And this surprises me so much because it seems like a chain store. It feels really well established and there's loads of really cool things in there. But there's only two, and both of them are in Brighton. So if you want things for your house, especially novel, quirky, but also useful things, this is the place to come. It's great for presents. This is not an advert, by the way. Here you've got different smells, you've got different crockery, like the mugs. It's just one of those places where you come in and you're like, oh my God, I want everything. Now it's funny because one time I was showing my friend around Brighton with my brother and we went down these same streets and he was like, oh, you have to go in here, it's so cool. And I was like, I have never even seen that shop in my life. For example, like this place, it's clearly just like a boys shop. So I've just never even been in there or even bothered to look at it. But yeah, that's what I mean about there's something for everyone. Oh my God, this fudge is so good. Just smell that. I don't eat fudge a lot, obviously, because it's so sweet that it's probably terrible for you. I just love it.
So you're a 蚂蚁人.
I am a 蚂蚁人.
蚂蚁人, yeah.
There's Snooper's Paradise here, which is a must go if you're like a tourist. I don't usually go in there because it's almost too quirky. It's basically like a secondhand shop that has so many different things. Like the most random place. Like that's why it's called Snooper's Paradise. Snooper is like someone who's looking around looking for things, and paradise is obviously like, wow, like heaven. You're just going to see so many unusual things in here. You might even stumble across something that's really good value. You know, things from the past, like ancient objects, things that have been handed down through generations. It's really hard to know what the history is of some of this stuff, but I mean, like that looks like a really good quality jacket, and you know, you just don't know where has it come from. I just bought this. Lol. I'm going to use this for every YouTube video. If I'm looking for a present for someone, I would always come here as a first point of call because you're likely to find something unique, like personalized even. I also love this shop, but it's shut right now. It's a chain store, so you can find it in other places. It's just essential oils, basically. Now you've got a few options. If you go left and then right on Jubilee Street, that's where the library is, and you've got some chain restaurants like Yo Sushi, Starbucks, like a curry place down there. If you go up here and then left, that's more of the main Laines street. And then it just goes on, you see. There's a lot to see in the lanes. And if you'd gone down that main road, you would have missed all of this. And I speak to so many tourists who've been to Brighton and they just don't know what the lanes is and they've never been here. I'm like, how did you miss the lanes? That's like the main thing to see. So it's quite funny actually. When I went to Taipei for the last time, I had bubble waffles and I was like, oh, this is so delicious. I'd never had it before. And then I just realized that it's literally there. Brighton already had it ages ago. Could have had it in my hometown, but anyway, they are delicious. And now we should definitely go left because we're going to see another building that people often don't know about. And it surprises me because you'll see why, because it's a really impressive building. Because of course people come to England and they go to Big Ben, they go to the London Eye, they go to the most famous places and they miss out on this. Another popular pub. Tongpoko is good for cheap food. If you're a student, you should probably eat there. It's like, I think it's Korean or Japanese. This is the Brighton Dome. This is not the building that I'm talking about, but it's just on the way. Loads of cool concerts. Like if some of the biggest musicians come to Brighton, some of them will play in here. I saw a really, really good musician called Jacob Collier play in here the other day. Not the other day, like a while ago, but yeah, he's incredible. You should look him up, Jacob Collier. This is probably a better shot of the Brighton Dome. It's basically a venue. Brighton's main music venue, apart from the Brighton Centre, but that's on the beach and it's nowhere near as nice as this. So now we've taken a right and we've come to the Pavilion Gardens. And this is the building I was talking about. This is called the Royal Pavilion, or the Brighton Pavilion. It was built by King George IV. He was a gluttonous king, not a king that everyone liked. He built this as his holiday home in Brighton at a time when a lot of the royalty enjoyed coming to Brighton to go and see. And the reason that it looks like an Indian palace is because he was fascinated by other cultures. And so he'd never actually been abroad, but he commissioned the building to look like an Indian-style palace on the outside. And inside, it's Chinese style, which is very intriguing. So yeah, that is the Royal Pavilion. I think it's really cool, don't you? So mostly this is now a place to chill and hang out. People might come and have a picnic or just relax on the grass. Interestingly, this is one of the nicest looking streets and there's some lovely restaurants along here. There's also a theatre. Okay, so now we're coming out onto the main high street. So we've just done a loop back round on the main street and coming back down this parallel road because I want to show you Shakeaway. It's interesting. Let me show you why. Okay, so what makes this special is, as you can see, there are so many different flavors and combinations that you can have. Literally anything that you can think of, you can get in here and you can mix it all together. So there's like fruits that you can mix with sweets and different types of biscuits and cakes, different types of proteins. You've got jams and condiments, and then they have some even really interesting ones like Wicked Wendy. In a Wicked Wendy, which is presumably like a joke, you can have frozen peas, pickled onions, garlic, and Marmite topped with whipped cream. Should we get it? Let's go for a regular. Yeah, I'm not sure if we can. Has anyone ever ordered that before?
I made a cheese.
Yeah. So let's try it. It's kind of nice actually in a weird way. It's incredibly tangy and like sour. Here's the pickled onions coming through. I think I'm gonna throw up.
那什么，好臭啊，好臭！我不敢再喝下一口了。不是甜的，它是咸的。Susie，给你吧，我可能没有办法。
Yeah， 我也没有办法。我们先还给他们吧。
A few moments later.
Okay, on with the tour. So you could probably do all of this in about 2 hours. So perfect if you want to have lunch. You know, you've probably just arrived from London, so you'll get here at like 10, and then you have a few hours, you have lunch, you come through here, and then you come to this main road. If you go up there, it's like the main department store. So if you want to do like more mainstream shopping, then you go up there. But I won't take you there because it's more boring. And you can find that stuff in any British city. What we're going to do is cut through here. So you find this little alley here, and then you'll be able to cut through into the other part of the lanes, which is also really, really old. And again, it's full of really quirky stuff. This restaurant is amazing. I really, really love it. And it's quite famous in Brighton. We're actually going to go there later. They have another one on the beach, and we're going to go there for some seafood. What's special about this is that it feels really like Diagon Alley, I suppose, because it's really narrow and old school. You've got all sorts of jewelry shops and magic shops. I think they've even got a Harry Potter shop here actually, and you're always going to get lost. Like, I still get lost. We're almost at the sea now, which I know is what everyone wants to see when they come to Brighton. I personally think that this section of the beach, just in front of the main town, is quite overrated in a lot of ways. When it's a nice day, there are just too many people, okay? Like, you can't even sit down because there are people everywhere. So if you do have a bit more time, I'd recommend going left towards the marina and towards Saltdean and be a bit quieter, or right towards Hove. There are some lovely areas and new developments happening in Hove for like sporting activities, like you can go kayaking, paddleboarding. So that's all right, but it's about a 20-30 minute walk. So we won't go there today. We'll just go straight in front of us. So I'm feeling like we need something, first of all, to wash down that disgusting milkshake. This place is quite cool. It has loads of different types of hot chocolate. Let's go inside. It's quite a hot day. I'm thinking I'll get an 80% iced chocolate. Not hot chocolate. So hopefully this will be better than the milkshake. So good. I'm obsessed with chocolate things at the moment, and this is so rich and it's so good. So now we're coming down onto the seafront. The last few things that you kind of have to do in your day in Brighton is go to here and go to the beach. So easily done because it's all just right here. So this is the Palace Pier. You now have to pay to go on, actually. I'd never go on pier. It's one of those things that locals just don't do. But if you're a tourist, you can go on the rides, you can do like the slot machines. So now that you're on Brighton Beach, what sort of foods should you try? There's a few things like this. This is called a 99 flake. It's just a classic type of ice cream. Fish and chips, obviously. And then there's something else called Brighton rock, which is an incredibly hard sweet that literally is as hard as a rock. It's not very nice, but you need to buy it because it's like the traditional sweet. If you have time, you should also go to the Sea Life Centre, which is over there. It's an aquarium, so they've got all the different types of fish, and it's quite cool. Especially if you've got kids, you should go there. Let's go down here to the fairground. So when I was a teenager, I'd come along the seafront because there's all the nightclubs here, which is quite a cool location actually for nightclubs, isn't it? But like these days, I would never ever come here at night. It would just be full of drunk people. Great if you're a teenager, but not now, not now. Here you can get all sorts of fresh fish and shellfish. They say it's locally caught, but I would actually be quite surprised because I don't see any life in the sea there at the moment. So here we have a sign that says I came to Brighton and got crabs, but obviously the joke is that crabs is also an STI, sexually transmitted disease. So perfect timing. We're coming along here now where there's a bit more bars and restaurants. So if you're going to socialise, have a nice relaxing evening, this is a good place to be. Yeah, this evening we're going to go and have dinner in the Riddle and Fins restaurant up there. Yeah, you can see so many people love to come here and hang out. There's really good vibes, like the vibes are good. Yeah, that's where we'll be for dinner. So when the weather is really, really nice, this is just absolutely packed. That's the West Pier, which has quite an interesting story that I'll tell you about in a second. As you can see, there's no one actually swimming in the sea, and that's because the flag is red. Can you see that? So that means that it's too dangerous to swim in the sea. So another thing that Brighton is famous for is being the gay capital of the UK. And so, of course, there's the Pride Festival, which happens every August. And there's all sorts of drag shows that happen. Yeah, it's quite good fun. Brighton Beach is pebbly. These are called pebbles. I guess you could also call them stones, but usually the rocks on the beaches are called pebbles. One of the downsides, I would say, because it's nicer to have a sandy beach, but at least the sand doesn't get stuck in your toes. So there are some good things. And if you go further to the left and to the right, then you'll find a more sandy beach. And also, actually, if you go into the sea, it does become sandy. So that's quite good. So now I want to tell you about that thing. Now, it might look kind of ugly. I actually think it looks quite beautiful. Like, I love taking pictures of it. But it used to be another pier, like the same as the Brighton Palace pier. And it was quite a nice looking one. And I remember it. And then one day, it just got burnt down. And the mystery is, no one knows who burned it down. So it was incredible. You know, there's pictures all over the internet. It was just suddenly on flames. Like this whole building, which used to be like a theatre, and lots of locals have pictures of that in their house just because it's such an iconic moment. But yeah, it's just becoming more and more dilapidated as the years go by. Bits of it falling into the sea. But I guess it's still just an iconic aspect of Brighton at the moment. So it's still there. But yeah, that pretty much concludes our tour for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe this has made you want to come here more. Maybe you feel like you've done it now because you've done it for me. But either way, 谢谢收看，我是戴秀贤，下次再见。Okay, so we're in the restaurant called Riddle and Fins. Okay, so the food has arrived and we've got some croquettes here and a fresh sea bass, which they're going to help us fillet in a second. Now, again, this is not an advert in any way, but I do love this place and I'm so excited to eat this. Such a rich flavour. Delicious.